Hey guys and girls, King here back with another video. Today we're going to be doing a Fab tier list. I did record this already, but I realized I messed it up. The face cam, as you can see, it's bottom right now instead of top left. It did actually cut off half of the actual tier list, so people couldn't see. So we're going to run through this again. We've got 4 tiers here. We've got obviously S tier. As you know, with these kind of things, is like I think is the best. You've got A, which is a really good set. B, which is a pretty good set, and then C, I think, is just the worst sets that we have. Obviously, in terms of like Flesh and Blood compared to a lot of games, obviously we don't have that many sets out. So the variance between a lot of sets is going to be very minimal. This isn't ranked on whether the set was, the meta of the set right now or when it released, because there's been a lot of variance between these sets. For instance, when Monarch first came out, it was very meta relevant, whereas now it isn't, the same as Tales of Aria. So I'm not going to be doing it based on like how much impact it had to the meta, because I wasn't playing back then either, so I honestly couldn't tell you that much. I know bits, but I don't know enough to be able to rate them on that. So this is just my favorite sets. If I was to open these sets, this is the order kind of I would want to open them, really. And let me know in the comments below what your tier list would be. I can link this in the description so you can do one yourself. Let me know as well, kind of like to see what yours are. Maybe content creators might want to do another video themselves in response to this and do their own. And please be kind in the comments. I know I'm going to get crucified for some of my choices. Anytime somebody shares their personal opinion, it becomes blasphemy. So let's start off. We'll start off with WTR. I think WTR has to go here. It was the first set that we ever got. Obviously, welcome to Rathe. There's so many really good cards in there. Obviously, the iconic cards like E-Strike. You've got the Tunic there. You've got so many commons and rares that are great. You've got the Sink Below, Snatch, obviously, Pink Snatch. You had cards that were banned like Drone of Brutality. There's so many good cards in the set that are still used today, and it's just a great experience. And I know in years to come I want to draft this set, and I know I'm going to have a lot of fun doing this. Next we're going to go up is, where we're going to go? We're going to Tales of Aria. I think Tales of Aria is a good set. I think it's, it's a very good set, I think. I know at the moment, obviously, most of it isn't playable right now, but I know when Tales of Aria, not only did the box art, was absolutely beautiful, but the cards inside the set are so beautiful. I think the legendaries in Tales of Aria are some of the best that we have in the game. They are honestly such beautiful cards. We had Channel Lake Frigid Alt Art, which is, I think, my favorite card in the game, by the Tunic. It's such a pretty card. The snowy one, the little fox, is absolutely amazing. So that will be in A. Next we go to Outsiders. I think Outsiders is an okay set. I know that there's some good cards in there. I know when obviously Codex of Frailty came out, it went boom. Obviously you got those Marvel codexes, which are really nice. I've never pulled one myself. I know in person. I've seen one in person. They look stunning. But I just don't... Outsiders for me isn't a great set. I don't enjoy it that much. It's not one that I'd opt to open, honestly. So that's why it's down in B. Where are we going to go? We're going to go Uprising now. I think Uprising... See, Uprising I'm kind of debating between these two because the dragons... I mean, I'm a massive fan of dragons. And those Marvel dragons are beautiful. They really are stunning cards. But I don't want to put too many sets up in S tier, so I'm going to put it here. And they'll be ranked within their tiers as well, so I think Uprising is a better set than Tales of Aria, just because of those Marvel dragons. I think as the sets progress, obviously we have these Marvels now, and we have the, they're doing different rarities and, different types of cards. Obviously, this is Fab 2.0. We had the, what was it? Was it the Blood of Drakai in this set? I think that's the Fabled. Which is quite a nice one compared to a lot of the Fab 2.0 ones. Next, we're going to go Everfest. I think Everfest goes up here. I think, for starters, it was the first set we got the paper wrappers. It's the last set of Fab 1.0, even though we haven't had the unlimited print yet. Everfest is still very cheap. You can pick it up. I think there's a lot of good values in the M slot, for instance, especially the Rainbow Foil M slot. Obviously, the legendaries aren't worth tons. You had the reprint of the Arcanite Skullcap. You've got the Stalagmite. You've got cards like Starvo in there, which was the first set Marvel hero, or double-sided hero as such. In Cold 4 is an absolutely stunning card. We know that hit LL really quickly. Absolutely destroyed the meta. There's a lot of nice cards. Obviously, we have the extended arts as well. Some of those extended arts are absolutely stunning, especially the Majestics. We did open a case recently. We did get the Aether Wildfire in a Majestic, and that was the first one. And I opened about 30 cases of Everfest, and that was the first Majestic extended art that I ever pulled. So there's just a lot of really nice cards. Obviously, there's a lot of cards that the Majestics are worth a lot of money now. It's really good ones like Swing Big, Revel in Rune Blood. You've got, I think, Shimmers of Silver, Fractal Replication. Like there's a lot of good like Majestics in that set, and it is kind of reminiscent of Crucible of War. Next, we're going to go to History Pack 1. I think History Pack 1 deserves to be in this slot purely because if you're coming in as a player, and you open this setup, you've got such a good variety there. The price point is a little bit more expensive than some boxes. I mean, you can find them for a good price, but I think especially in the UK, we didn't seem to get a massive supply of these. I know that there were in stores for about £110 a box, and I think I could find them for as low as like 85 at one point. You get 36 packs a box. Obviously, that increases your chance of getting legendaries in case. I think you get 2.5 legendaries roughly per case. That seems to be what I've seen anyway. So there's some good value there in terms of playability wise. You're getting a lot of good staples there from those earlier sets, and I think that's why I think History Pack should be there. I think the box art as well is absolutely stunning. I really like the angle they went with that. I haven't got History Pack 2 on here because we haven't got it in English yet. I don't see the need for it for at least a couple of years. There might be a time in the future where we do need History Pack 2 English, and I'm sure that'll be printed then. So next we're going to go Arcane Rising. I'm going to put Arcane Rising here. Again, if it was purely based on meta, it probably would be S tier. You've got Art of War and Command and Conquers, two of the most iconic cards in the game. Obviously, you've got the Eye of Phidia, absolute stunning card. And you've got some good legendaries in there. But I think the most expensive legendary last time I checked was Stormstriders. But I think it's top of A tier. I don't think it's quite S tier. And a lot of people might not like the fact that I put Everfest up here. I think some people probably regard it down here or there, but I really do think Everfest is a great set. Next, we're going to go to Dusk Till Dawn. I think Dusk Till Dawn goes... I think it goes here. Do you know what? I'm going to move History Pack 1 here. Yeah, I think History Pack 1 I'm going to leave here. I know what I said about it, but I don't think it's as strong as these sets here. And there's a chance that the set doesn't hold up as much because of the non-foils. So I think I'm happy with... Dusk Till Dawn's a great set. I think it's going to age well. The Angels are absolutely stunning cards. I don't think the serialized cards really affect the opinion on the set for most people. The only thing it really did was make sure the set was out of print quick. But I suspect that most of these sets are out of print, honestly. Like, I'm not seeing new supply of Uprising or Dynasty come out. So, and Bright Lights is pretty much, I think, bar Monarch and Toa Unlimited, maybe the only ones you can really pick up readily available here in the UK at the moment. Next, we're going to go Crucible of War. Crucible of War is my favourite set. I think it's the best set. Obviously, it's the third set. The print run for first edition was above WTR and Arc, but Unlimited was below both of those. So, all in all, it's the least printed of the Fab 1.0 sets that we know. I don't know what the print runs are for the latest sets, so it's a bit hard to kind of compare those. Crucible of War, first supplemental or supplementary set we ever got. Obviously, it introduced the reprint of the Tunic, which was very much anticipated. We've got Shiana, which kind of still hasn't found its place yet. People suspect that maybe in heavy hitters, but we haven't obviously got confirmation yet until the set comes out. But it'd be interesting to see what happens with Shiana. There's so many good stuff in the set. There's so many good majestic equipment and weapons. The M slot really is good in that set. I think the value's dropped a little bit now, but for a while obviously those Majestics, they had a lot of good value. There's still some ones in there, Courage of Bladehole is really good. You've got like Metacarpus nodes in there. You've got the Visitronic, as well as just, a lot of good cards in there. And a lot of the Brute stuff is starting to rise a little bit now. Cards like Beast Within. So I think Crucible of War is, the best set Fab have made. I think the first set is always kind of like, I think WTR and Arc was probably made at similar times, like in terms of like the planning stages for the set, because they feel very kind of similar. And then of course you had Crucible of War came out, and I think that was when they were sort of started hitting form. Next, we're going to go with Dynasty. I think Dynasty obviously has the Emperor and it has some Marvels in there, but I don't really think the Marvels are great, honestly. I just don't think. I know a lot of them are weapons and stuff, but I'm thinking of the Kimono right now. But I really don't. I don't like the kind of black and gold. It reminds me of some of the Magic the Gathering like etched foil cards from New Capenna. So I'm putting Dynasty down here. That might be a set that a lot of people disagree with me on, which is absolutely fine. This is my tier list, not yours. So let me know. That one is, I feel like someone's going to say something about this. Monarch, I'm going to put in here. I think Monarch probably deserves to be here. Maybe, where do we sit? Where does Monarch sit? I think Monarch sits about here. Let me move that there. I think Monarch sits about there. I think Monarch is a really good set. It hasn't aged well, particularly just because of, the fact that most of the heroes are LL. I know Bolton, I think, is the only viable hero left, if I'm not mistaken. But there are still some really beautiful cards. Obviously, the Great Library of Solana is amazing. There are some really nice legendaries in the set. You've got like Valiant Dynamo, you've got Carrion Husk, you've got the Footsteps. Really nice legendaries in that set. I think these two sets particularly have really strong legendaries in. Not just in terms of playability, but in terms of just the look. And I think Bright Lights down here. And for most people, I think Bright Lights probably sits low. There's going to be some people that... There might be some people that put it in S tier. And, that is obviously just going to be their opinion. If you play Mech, for instance, and you use a lot of the cards in that set, or, maybe it was the set you got into Fab again, or it was the first set, there's going to be reasons as to why someone might really like that set, and that's absolutely fine. It's a set that I kind of skipped on. It just doesn't interest me at all. The whole theme of the mech stuff doesn't do it for me. The whole, it feels a bit, with the Iron Man card style. I really like the fantasy. So that's why a lot of these sets that really kind of resonate with me. The whole reason why I got into Flesh and Blood was because I was watching, the Cypher's Lord of the Rings stuff on Team Covenant, and then it went to the Fab Blitz decks, and I was like, oh, this art looks really good. And it was that kind of fantasy theme that drew me in. And it's not to say the art doesn't look cool. Like, the cards look cool, but I just don't. I think they could have been better. And I know since then we found out information that the cards didn't quite come out the way that LSS thought with printing and whatever. There were some issues with the set, but I don't think it's a great set. Obviously, we had another reprint of the Tunic, which a lot of people wanted. Obviously, I think it's got the Tunic down to around £70 now. So it's a lot more affordable. Personally, I think the Tunic's going to be phased out in time. I think it will become just a collector's piece, and it'll be a card that, people use in a kind of legacy format, such a thing in the future with Flesh and Blood. I don't see it being where heroes are getting like their own specific chess pieces going forward that are going to work better. There's going to be a time when Tunic really isn't used. Like, if I compare it to 2 years ago, for instance, where Tunic was in, I think on February, it was 75 to 80% of decks was running Tunic. I'd like to see the percentage of what decks run Tunic now. There are still a lot of decks that do run Tunic, but there are a lot of heroes that have their own specific chess pieces that don't need Tunic. And I think the fact that it was such an expensive card for such a long time, people found other viable solutions. And I don't think that. I think it's going to be power crept out, like kind of Yu-Gi-Oh does, because we don't have a rotation here, do we? We obviously have the LL format, But, you know, when you've got, you know, Starvo, as soon as Everfest comes out, it pretty much LLs. Whole of Toa is LL'd. Monarch, you've got most of the heroes in there that have hit LL. There's quite a lot of heroes that hit. Obviously, had Icelander as well. There's a lot of heroes that hit in Blitz and CC towards the end of last year. So it'll be interesting. I think they obviously want to bring in the new heroes. There's going to be a lot of new heroes this year, they announced. And there'll be obviously new versions of it. Obviously, we've seen with, you know, there's another Rhinar. We've got young versions like Kaio and Kasai that are going to be in. Obviously, Benji could potentially be in, I think, the Isle of Mysteria set or whatever the set that's themed around that will be. That'll be an interesting set for me. I run Katsu, so I'll be intrigued. But thank you all for watching. Please comment, subscribe as always. Please don't be afraid to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I know that there's going to be some people. No one's going to agree with the whole list, let's be honest. You know, people have different reasons for liking sets. It's going to be heavily dependent on the heroes that they play. It's going to be heavily dependent on when they came into Flesh and Blood. Crucible of War was the set that came out when I started Fab. So I think that has a little bit of bias towards me. I'm not going to lie, like, you know, these earlier sets, they're quite high ranked up here. You know, and obviously you're seeing a lot of the newest sets lower ranked. Don't get me wrong on, you know, there's going to be a point where some of these sets are going to move out of these tiers. I think, you know, some of the stuff from some of these sets won't be used anymore as much. You know, I don't think Art of War, Command & Conquer, and E-Strike will ever probably not really be playable, just because of just the way they are, obviously being generics. But yeah, let me know your comments below, and have a great day.